through my own account. That way I can manage it as well. There's Pacific Tier 2 and Tier 3. That's good to see. They're all up and running as they should be. I clicked on the wrong video. And it still hasn't popped up just yet. Has it? There it is there. So the stream's up, the chat's up. I just want to check the audio. Yeah, the audio is working as it should as well. Fantastic. Hello everyone and welcome to round 6 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your lead commentator for this event, and this time we are racing at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. Revered as one of the all-time great circuits in motorsport, this 7-kilometre 19-turn course is without a doubt one of the most fierce and challenging on the calendar. Its nature and reputation comes from the fact that there is absolutely no margin for error, and any mistakes from exceeding those margins will prove to be incredibly costly. You have auto-spin curbs at turns 5 Les Combes, turn 10's Pouon, and the S section of turns 12 and 13. Blanchimont, turn 17 in wet weather conditions can prove to be a total nightmare. Even the pit lane entry is a hazard spot because of how incredibly narrow and awkward it is. Of course, there's the circuit's iconic piece, the infamous Eau Rouge Radillon complex of turns 2, 3 and 4 that Wogboy is going through right now. A fast, flowing and fearsome bit of track where cars are constantly on the edge of grip, and has been the scene of bravery and tragedy ever since it was created in 1925. Overtaking is somewhat limited here, with only 2 DRS zones that lead into turn 1's La Source and turn 5. We tend to see DRS trains forming over the course of a race, making it difficult for drivers to pass, which means track position is going to be more than likely a key factor in determining who wins tonight. That makes this qualifying session all that more important. But before we focus on qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through first from last week's race in France. There were 3 incident reports, one involving Cavoudi and G-Force Zach, which resulted in Cavoudi getting a 10-second time penalty. There was also a collision between Roscoe Arm and Leo after his sublime performance at France, and Leo was found at fault and he was given a 10-second time penalty. This results in Leo dropping down from P5 to P7 in the final results. Cavoudi stays in P14. One key incident I want to bring up was one between Roscoe Arm and Spilly that happened at turn 10. If you want to visualize what happened during the race, basically imagine Verstappen and Hamilton from the 2021 British Grand Prix. It's basically the same thing, but in wet conditions. And the explanation provided by the stewards is average. That's probably the most polite way of putting it. And as a result, it's resulted in no further action, which I'm really, really puzzled by. And to put roles to drivers, imagine Roscoe Arm as Verstappen and Spilly as Hamilton in that scenario. I don't quite understand how Spilly got away with that. He only had a front wing alongside Roscoe Arm's rear wheel. I mean, into an incredibly fast corner in wet conditions. And somehow Spilly isn't found to be at fault for that. Part of the excuse is that Roscoe Arm turned in too early. And of course he did. It was his corner. Spilly was nowhere near long enough side. So, anyway, some of those stewards' decisions as of late have been a bit interesting, to put it politely. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, G-Force Crichton is leading on 105 points, followed by Spilly on 96. It's only 9 points separating the top 2. Fiery Hour is third, and he's checked in to start this race, but he's not present, so hopefully he'll be able to join mid-session. He's currently third on 89 points, 7 behind Spilly. Wogboy is fourth, the man on screen right now, on 79 points, followed by G-Force Ford on 73. Chip on 64, Leo on 45 is P7. P8 is Plebs on 42. Will actually make that equal 9th, as Will is also on 42 points, so 2 drivers with 42 points. and Karma rounds out the top 10 on 38. Looking at the constructors, Mercedes are leading on 194, followed by Aston Martin on 115. Yeah, it's a pretty big gap between the top two in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari and Williams are equal fourth on 93 points each, followed by McLaren on 80, Red Bull on 64, Alpine on 53, Haas on 36, Alfa Romeo on 28, and AlphaTauri on 14. And the very, very, very last bit of news, we had a patch. Version 1.16 was released, and apparently it fixed the game giving out penalties for minor collisions during safety car periods. We'll have to wait and see if they've actually fixed that, because knowing Codemasters, it's highly unlikely. That's bound to still be a thing. That's basically all the news out of the way. I can now introduce my co-commentator who's been waiting very patiently. Thank you very much, Alex, for joining me here in the comms box once again. The last time you raced here was in Pacific Elite, and that race went very, very south for you. You know full well what the challenges of this circuit lie in store for the drivers tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Yeah, what can I say? Like, it was a downhill race on my side. Like, it went really badly after the qualifying. It's a really challenging track. Side-by-side action at Lecombe will be key for these drivers to survive as Karma, I think. Less fun out of summer. And yeah, it's a really challenging track, and I really like it. It could be designed better, to be honest, on this game. Like, there are other versions which are much better, like Gran Turismo or Assetto Corsa. Like, the auto spin curves, just I'd prefer not to comment on them.
Yeah, they're awful.
And yeah, exactly. And but let's see, because like in terms of setup, it's gonna be. Like, I'm really curious about the choices of the drivers, because usually in qualifying, having a bit more on downforce, it helps in the second sector, and it gives you like a better lap time. But then in the race, you need to be stuck on DRS straights. So let's see what the drivers decide, actually, because it's going to be a 50-50, I think.
And I can see as well, not too many people are trying to qualify on the medium compound tyre. Now, the strategy here is fairly simple, isn't it, Alex? It's either soft mediums or medium softs. Are you surprised of how few people are trying to qualify on the medium compound tyre?
Well, the track is really long, so the gap between softs and mediums is quite big. It's like 1.1 seconds. So basically, if you are like, apart from Podium, I think in 4D, like, you cannot like go into the top 10 in mediums, so it's not really worth it to try and qualify on mediums.
Fair enough.
I did a run of mediums on Sunday in the first run, but just because I didn't have a lot of practice, so I just wanted to take like an outlap on mediums to get used to the track again.
Fair enough.
But like, if you want to be like in the top 10 spot, you need to use soft tires, and strategy is pretty simple here. It's like Silverstone, like soft medium, and plus, like, if you start on mediums and there's a safety car in the beginning of the race.
Yeah. As you found out at Silverstone.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, I did. Oh yes, I did indeed. You're gonna be like pretty. You're not gonna have a lot of choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Let's see what these drivers can do.
But no, you mentioned the auto spin curbs here. It's kind of interesting when you look at a game like iRacing, for example, and that's considered to be the sim of sims, right? And they recently introduced the W12, the Mercedes W12, into iRacing. And you see the drivers just abuse all of the curbs around the racetrack trouble-free. It just makes you a little bit sad inside that in the game like F1 2021, you touch those curbs, you die, is basically how it works. But in a sim, it's perfectly fine. You can do whatever you want. Penalty-free.
Exactly. And another thing that I want to point out is like the runoff areas, like in real life and in other sims, like especially out of turn 9 and out of turn 15, like the drivers tend to abuse these runoff areas in order to gain and in order to have more exit speed. But on this game, basically, and actually also in turn 11, and these drivers, like, must not actually do that, because otherwise, like, 1 millimeter away and you get a warning, or you get a lap invalid.
Yep.
Which is kind of not so realistic, but yeah, it is how it is.
Yeah, that's the only way we can put it. It is how it is, and we just have to deal with it, unfortunately. And I really don't see things improving in the next game either. As Mr. Crichton here is crossing the first sector split, he is down by 34 thousandths of a second. As ACW pointed out in the chat, Crichton's already into the 41s. And we're just crossed over the halfway mark in qualifying. So that banker time from Crichton is quite a ripper, to say the least. He's making his way through No Name now. I think that corner actually has a name, but nobody knows what it was. So they just call it No Name. Through Puon, turn 10, then turn 11. And into the S section of 12 and 13. The inside curve here can be quite treacherous. Use too much of it, the car can just spontaneously rotate on you and you spin out. Good fun. Around Stavilo here, turn 14. Crossing the middle sector split, he's up by almost a tenth. Through turn 15, where my colleague, Mr. Pato, had a unfortunate run-in with a barrier during Elite Series that he probably wouldn't want me bringing up. Exited Blanchimont up towards the bus stop chicane. The final two corners on the racetrack. Chucks it in second gear. Nice and easy with the accelerator. Gets lovely rotation at the exit of the corner. Crosses the line and improves by 6 thousandths of a second. Well, an improvement's an improvement. He pulls away just a little bit from Leo here. Fernando Leo Alonso here, who put in a superb performance back in France. It was really quite a defensive masterclass. And he and Crichton put on a fantastic show for us, as Leo just misses out on improving by 8 thousandths of a second. Karma, P3 in the McLaren. He's looking pretty tidy at the moment, and he's apparently purple to the first sector. I think he got a bit of a tow from the Ferrari behind. I would guess that would be Wogboy. He is on an outlap. Exiting Rivage, turn 8, around No Name. There's yellow flags about. I think that's a Williams, if I'm not mistaken. Around Puon, turn 10, then turn 11. Staying away from those curbs. Don't want to touch them too much. Around turn 12, then turn 13. And around turn 14 to complete the middle sector. What does the clock say for Karma? Is he up? Yes, he is. He's up by 0.4 of a second. So he's looking to jump up to P2. If he can find a bit more time in the final sector, he might be able to take pole position away from Crichton. It'll be a hell of an effort in the final sector to do that, but it's not impossible. Here we go up towards the final part of the circuit, the bus stop chicane, which isn't exactly a bus stop anymore. It's just this sort of tight, double hairpin chicane thing. He opens DRS, crosses the line, jumps up to P2, improves by 0.4 to do a 1 minute 42.239. Pledge is going back into the pits. Spilly, I think he's on a flying lap here. Or maybe not. He's not driving too quickly at the moment. Grim Reaper, his lap is invalid. Wogboy making his way through Eau Rouge and Radion. Incredibly high-speed complex. In the dry, it is frightening at times in the dry. In the wet, though, the terrifying nature just dials up to 11 in the wet. It's just so sketchy through there in wet conditions. I never enjoy it, ever. You either get a lot of oversteer or a lot of understeer. You're having to catch the car at some point. Around No Name, down the hill towards Puon, turn 10. Nice and easy in 7th gear. Uses enough of the racetrack. Around turn 12 and 13. This is actually one of my favourite parts of the circuit. I love 12 and 13 minus those slight auto spin curbs. Exit turn 14. He's up by almost 2 seconds, so that's a very healthy improvement. So he's looking at a 42.9. So that would put him he'll be in quite a healthy group of cars actually in the 42.9s, as Rude has retired from the session. He's crashed out at turn 7. We'll look at that in just a moment. We'll keep an eye on this though. I want to see what Wogboy can do. He's coming up towards the stripe. He does a 42-1. Jumps up to P2. Well done, Wogboy. Let's see. Karma, maybe? No, he's just disappeared. There's the other Alpine going by. Average only. So more than likely, Rude will be starting from the back, I would think. Just have to wait
really
and
nice
see.
Really nice lap. Like it was pretty clean, and getting P2 like behind Crichton. Like it's the only thing you can do right now. Looking at the gap, like trying to stick with him in his DRS during the race.
That's it.
But yeah, I completely agree about what conditions are on here. Like Eau Rouge, Radion, and Pouon as well. Like you really need to shift down and try to keep the car as better as possible, because like the car, the front end and the back end just want to go away both.
They do not want to cooperate at all.
Yeah,
they just want to go away from you. It is just so many parts of this racetrack that you just take for granted in the dry become a total nightmare in the wet. That's like a lot of racetracks, but here at Spa, it's just incredibly noticeable. There's so many different parts of the circuit. As Scotty here, currently P7, which is not a bad effort at all from Scotty, is coming out of La Source turn 1. I mentioned in the intro that you can make overtakes at turn 1, but we rarely see any. That's because of the Kemmel Straight after Radion. If you're going to make a pass at La Source, you might as well just stay behind and just get DRS down the Kemmel Straight and overtake into Lake Holm. You just might as well. So, but in those sort of final lap battles, we might see a bit of action at turn 1. We will see action at turn 1 on lap 1. That is just a guarantee. As Scotty is coming out of turn 8, now around turn 9. Have to be careful at turn 9. You don't want to invalidate. Quite easy to do if the car understeers past the apex. Oh, he's got a whole heap of understeer there at Pouon. Probably lost him a fair chunk of time. As we've got yellow flags in sector 2 and 3. That's a slowed Ferrari, I think. That would have to be Grim Reaper because Wogboy is in the pits. That will mean qualifying session over for Wogboy. Scotty runs awfully wide onto the gravel almost. He's down by half a tenth as Crichton here has begun his final flying lap. He's making his way through Eau Rouge and Radion, flat out at 300 kilometers an hour. He'll open DRS. Will he improve to the first sector? I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see an improvement in the first sector, but let's see. Oh, he is. He's up by just over half a tenth. That's more time than I thought he would find, in all honesty. Down the hill, exiting turn 7. He's making his way around turn 8 now. See what other drivers are up to. Zach making his way down towards Pouon.
Leo is 4 times down. He's in
oh dear.
sector.
So Leo isn't set to improve then, from the sounds of things. And
Yes, he is.
oh, you meant 4 tenths up. Right, sorry. He was 4 tenths up on his time. I see. So he does a 42-1.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I got you now. I got you. Now that's a nice effort from Leo to do a low 42. Crichton, he's down by half a tenth in the middle sector. There's an AlphaTauri stranded. That must be Tinselman, who has retired out of qualifying. Few more corners remain for Crichton, as 40 jumps up to P2 with a 41.996. I don't think anyone else is looking to challenge Crichton for pole position. Can Crichton improve through the final couple of corners? Back onto the main straight. He'll open DRS up towards the line. He doesn't improve. He misses out by 13 thousandths of a second. And Plevs, oh,
fun.
that's at 12 and 13. Oh dear. Spilly's coming up to the line. He's set to improve. He jumps up to P7 with a 1 minute 42.612. And I think that might be qualifying over. Oh no, Scotty's up by a tenth in the middle sector. With that sort of improvement, he can find a few positions and jump inside the top 10. Down onto the main straight. He'll cross the line and stays in P12. He lost time in the final sector, so he'll start outside the 10. So that's it, qualifying over. And it's GeForce Crichton on pole position. And it's a G-Force front row with Ford starting alongside. The only two drivers inside the 41s. Leo will line up third, followed by Wogboy. Karma in P5, then Roscoe Arms, Spilly. Plez starts from P8. G4 Zach from 9th, and Average Only rounds out the top 10. And all of them will start on the soft compound tyre, unless it's raining at the start. I don't think I got a weather check in the chat. I'll just quickly check. Now, I hear you, Tinsel. F this track. I hear you. I do hear you. No, I don't think I've got a weather report, so... As far as I know, it should be a dry start to the race. I have to say, though, one thing I am a bit surprised by is how spread out the top 10 is. Separated by 8 tenths. I thought it would be a tad bit closer than that, but there we are. 1 second...
It's the longest track on calendar in the end.
That is true, but it's quite a high-speed track, and typically with high-speed tracks, qualifying is a little bit closer. Granted, 1 second separates the top 15, so it is closer than I think. And 1.5 seconds separates the whole field, so...
Yeah, there's a big gap between P5 and P6, actually.
Yeah, look at that, 3 tenths. That's a good spot. But yeah, there's the big gap. Right. Race time, or rather formation lap time. See what the conditions are for the start. Is it dry? Yes, it's dry. And seemingly not a cloud in the sky. And there's no grey filter covering the screen either, so it's nice and bright out there. As you can see in the left-hand side of your screen, there's Leo's Alpine jumping around, very excited to go. That has nothing to do with lag. That's just the Alpine really, really excited to race. As the session counter is starting to count down. You mentioned earlier, Alex, that drivers would favour to have more downforce in qualifying. Would they start trimming off some of the front wing, try and get that top speed back for the race?
Well, it depends, because if you are in clean air, then maybe you can do it, but like, I think you want a bit more turn in. Like as you are in dirty air, because you're going to lose some downforce in the end, like if you're stuck in the DRS train.
Yep.
I would stick to the setup I used in qualifying, to be honest. Maybe I would like work on the tire pressures, especially in the fronts.
Yep.
Just 1 click down. But in the end, in terms of downforce, I will just keep the sign, actually.
Yeah, I can understand that completely. I often don't want to mess around with the setup too much. It sort of spoils the feeling of the car. Even that 1 click down on downforce can have a fairly dramatic effect on how you drive the race. Now, we'll go through the order in full, and we'll see who's starting on what. So, we've got Crichton on pole position, starting on the soft tyre. We've got G-Force Ford starting alongside, also on the soft tyre. We've got Leo P3, G-Force Wogboy in P4. There's the predicted tyre stop strategy. And he's going from soft to hards. I don't think that's right. He'll be going soft to medium, surely. Pit window lap 7 to 8. So we'll keep that in mind. Karma P5, Roscoe on P6, Spilly in P7, Plebs P8, G4 Zach in P9, and Average Only rounds out the 10. And all of them are starting on worn, soft compound tyres from qualifying. Bags will start P11 on fresh, soft compound tyres. Same with Scotty in P12. Chip is the first driver, starting on the mediums in 13th place. Tinselman is starting on the soft tyre in 14th. Hiller's P15 starting on the mediums. Same with Grim Reaper in P16. And Rude will be starting from the back of the grid in 17th place. He's on the soft compound tyre. So we've got 14 drivers on the softs and only 3 on the mediums. Yeah, you can see a lot of drivers favouring one direction over the other. It's pretty obvious. Those medium runners, they need to try and keep up with the leaders as best they can, because if they don't have DRS, then they're going to lose out quite a bit. That's just the nature of the game, really. If you don't have any DRS, then you just lose out big time. So those medium compound tyre runners, they need to get a move on, but they also need to keep out of trouble. Because the only tyre they can put on after getting damage early in the race is the hard tyre. And the hard tyre isn't, well, it isn't bad, but it isn't particularly great. So, rightio. Leaders are lining up now. Leo's car will line up there in third. Just be waiting on Rude here to line up into his grid slot. We can get this race underway. There we are. I'll bring up the intervals already, because the intervals provide a little change position guide, which is quite nice. Ooh. But here we go. We've got 22 laps in front of us. 10 red lights. And we are underway here in Spa. Crichton gets a pretty good launch from pole position. He should lead the field around turn 1. 40 slots into P2. Leo trying to keep P3 there as Wogboy tries to challenge around the outside. Can't do it though. Karma in P5. And yellow flags are out. Is it Bags? No, it's Rude. Starting from the back. He's on the runoff area, poor fella.
Oh, watch out for Zach and Plebs. P9, they're fighting side by side.
Here we go. Plez, P8. Can he go around the outside of Roscoe Arm here? Can't get it done. Bit of side-by-side action behind as Average Only drops down to 13th place. So he's lost 3 places off the start. And that Alpine looks so! Oh my goodness, a collision between Average Only, Chip, and Hillez at the exit of turn 7. And Crichton has left the session. The race leader, the championship leader, is out of the session. And look at his AI. It's dropping down through the order. He's down to 5th. He's down to P6. He needs to rejoin as soon as possible. Otherwise, he'll be at the back of the field in no time flat. Oh dear. Thank goodness he's ghosting as well. Otherwise, the field would be backed up quite tremendously from how slow the AI is. Oh my goodness. And here comes Roscoe Arm to go through Crichton's car. Looks like the Mercedes is undamaged as well, as Rude has had a moment again at Pouon this time around. Around Blanchimont. Oh dear, oh dear. He's now down to 12th place. Outside the top 10 as Bags tries to fight Scotty here. He has the inside line for the final corner. Gets the drive as well. He gets in front of Scotty into P10. So a bit of drama on the opening lap at Spa. It's quite a typical sight to see. As Spilly is on the back of Karma, heading down towards Eau Rouge. Will he use any battery heading onto the Kemmel Straight? Will he try and pass the McLaren? He's using battery. Heading down the Kemmel Straight. He's got the toe of the McLaren in front. Karma, he stays on the racing line. Now he moves to the inside to cover that inside line. And Spilly can do nothing in P5. He just stays behind. Follows the McLaren through the complex and down the hill towards turn 8. Tinselman is close. Not quite close enough to battle though. Where to look? Where to look? Yellow flags are out. Uh-oh. He has crashed. Yep. And we have a virtual safety car. No, he's had a nasty moment at the top of the hill. He's immediately left the session.
Well, yeah, I think he got damaged before on lap 1 because he was really slow out of Malmedy.
Yep.
And yeah, maybe it's just gave up. Like, understandable sometimes.
But could be cold tires as well. You said he definitely pitted, didn't he? To
yeah, he did.
Wing. So as soon as you come out of the pit lane, you immediately encounter Eau Rouge and Radion. So you got cold tires. So you've got no time at all to get them up to temperature. And as soon as you lose the back end, it goes. So.
Yep.
Alrighty, we're back under green flag racing. It's lap 3 of 22. DRS is now enabled, and now Crichton has rejoined the session. I know that because the intervals have disappeared. It's a neat little feature when somebody rejoins. Oh, hello. Well, welcome back, Crichton. Made a bit of a boo-boo at turn 1 as Spilly gets by Karma.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes when you rejoin your steering, like your accelerator just needs to recalibrate, and I think that's what happened to him on the exit of turn 1.
Yikes. Benefits of using a controller, I suppose. It takes no time at all for a pad. It's great. But now he's got a fair bit more work to do to try and catch up to this train in front. Won't be easy either. He won't have any DRS to help him out. I think everyone in this field is in a train. Oh, no. No, we got 2 trains. So we got the top 3. They're in their own little group. There's a fairly big gap to Spilly. Then it's followed by Karma, Roscoe, Tinselman. They're all fairly close. Oh, I wish the intervals came back. Oh, as Spilly puts it onto the grass briefly there at turn 14. Just ran a bit wide on the entry. Cost him a little bit of time as he's trying to catch up to Wogboy. Yeah, with these drivers in the trains, they won't be able to do too much in terms of passing. They'll all have DRS. If you're going to make a move, it has to be pretty audacious. Oh, as Roscoe had a massive lag spike there. My goodness. Looked like he ran off the circuit there at turn 18. And he zipped back onto the racing line right in front of Tinselman as Crichton goes into the pits. So he must have got damage. Did he? No. Sorry. The interval just sort of went a bit wonky. So he didn't go into the pits. My bad.
I think some drivers will get some time penalties in like a few laps time, because I was watching some onboards and some of them are really going wide in some exit. Unless they're lifting off, we're gonna see some. Oh, and Roscoe. Oh my!
Wheel to wheel stuff there at turn 6. Tinselman and Roscoe are battling hard, but it's all fair. It's all fair. Just a little bit of contact. It won't hurt anybody. Tinselman tries to get it done around the outside of turn 9. Roscoe gives him, just enough room. As G-Force Zach capitalizes on the situation and takes P7 away from Tinselman. Plevs, he's on the back of this as well. They're now exiting turn 11 into 12 and 13. Oh, dearie me. As Zach overshoots himself just a little bit. Compromises his run at the exit of 13. Around turn 14 now. It's nice traction there. Around turn 15, you have to be very careful with 15. It can catch you out when you least expect it. Around turn 16, up towards Blanchimont, turn 17. Now, I don't think any of these guys are quite close enough to attack at this point. They all just have to stay behind one another and wait for the right moment to try and strike. Get a bit of DRS assistance down the main straight, not that that really helps you. Around turn 1's the source, and I think I'd see a bit of action between Leo and Wogboy here as they exit Radion. Here we go. He'll get DRS, Wogboy, and he'll slingshot by Leo with absolute ease. He takes second place. Can he catch up to his G-Force compatriot? That is the question. As Zach overtakes Roscoe for P6. Roscoe slots himself into 7th, and there's a fairly big train of cars behind. The Tinselman players, Bags, Scotty and Hillers is just on the back of it in P12. Exiting turn 8 now, around turn 9. Not much you can do here. Just follow the leader. Try not making any mistakes. And as Alex alluded to earlier, you don't want any warnings. Penalties usually do play a factor in these kinds of races when you've got these big trains forming. Around turn 13.
And I think Wogboy is really pushing a lot, trying to get into this second gap.
Yeah, he's 40. Almost there. Just in it now.
Yeah, they've got pretty much the same amount of battery, like 20-ish. And I think he's made it. Yeah, he's made it.
Yeah, within that 1 second range, as Rude is backwards at the top of Radion. Meanwhile, top 3 separated by about 2 seconds or so from first to third. Wogboy, he'll be closing in now with the assistance of DRS. Now, DRS is awfully powerful, but I don't think he will be able to attack Ford down the Camel Straight. And Leo, he might not get DRS altogether.
Yeah, he's out of it.
Yep. And Crichton's in the pit lane as well. He's properly in the pit lane now.
Karma's going to overtake Spill, I think. Yes, he is.
There he goes. Fairly simple move. Roscoe gets awfully close to Zach as well. Doesn't get quite close enough to try and make the pass. Still got this huge train of cars making their way around turn 8. No, I always find it a little bit infuriating watching a race where you got drivers so close to one another, but they're unable to do anything. They're just sort of stuck behind the car in front of them, and they have to wait until the DRS zone to try and get by.
Oh, Spilly. Spilly had a big moment out of turn 11. He's lost a lot of time to Karma. He touched the inside curb and the car unsettled big time.
Yep. Auto spin curbs, aren't they just so much fun? Spilly, he's still within that 1 second range. Tenselman is very close to Roscoe Arm here. Around Blotchima, look at that. So, oh, they almost touch. They almost touch. Oh, my goodness me. As Wogboy goes into the pits, Tenselman does Roscoe Arm around the outside of 18 and moves himself into P7, a fine move. And Spilly is in as well. So maybe his soft tyres are a bit rooted. He's going in to fit on the medium compound tyre. All this train, this big train of cars, all just stuck behind one another, unable to do a thing.
And Wogboy is going big actually, because he could have just stayed behind 40. That it's pretty early for a pit stop, to be honest, but maybe he's going for the big undercut because 40, of course. Oh, and 40 has spun, I think.
Has he? No, sorry.
It's rude.
Rude.
It's rude.
And we have a safety car. Yeah. We have a safety car. Oh, Wogboy. Oh, Spilly as well. Oh, no.
I just cursed him.
No way. The gamble has not paid off.
And Crichton as well. Crichton Spilly as well.
So Crichton could have... Oh, has he?
Oh, yes, he has. He's got new mediums.
So he'll set to lose out as well then. Righto. All of these guys on the softs are set to benefit from this. Any of these guys on the mediums? Should be. Yeah, Hiller's.
Only Hiller's.
So I guess he'll pit onto a... Well, he could do 2 stops during this safety car period, so he can go onto like a set of softs for a lap, then go back in and put on a set of mediums. Or he could chuck on the hard tyre and go to the end. It'd be interesting to see what he does. Fair enough. Ford's in, Leo's in, Karma's in, Zach's in, Tinselman's in, Plevs is in, they're all in. Oh my goodness. And Hilles, yep, he's definitely coming in. I'll be intrigued to see what Hilles does. We should have a double stack for McLaren.
Let's see where Wogboy comes out as well. Because now he's entitled to push up to the finish line. And he is pushing.
No, he hasn't lost out as much as I thought he would. Oh, it's tight. Oh, that's tight. Has he got him? I think he has. Well.
Yes.
He hasn't? Oh, hang on. Yeah, no, he said. So he hasn't lost out as much as I thought he would. I thought he would really lose out from that, but no, he hasn't. He's only lost 1 position from it. Spilly, I think, has lost a couple. I think he was P5 before the stops, and he's now P7. And Hilles, he's put on the soft tyre. So he might pit again and go onto a set of mediums. Maybe.
Or maybe go for softs again.
Yeah, could do.
But it needs to work a lot right now. It needs to overtake a lot of cars in order to make this work.
And that's the tricky bit. Passing is so difficult here. Especially when you're at the back of a DRS train.
Oh, yes, he is.
You've got a lot of work to do from there. So... Then we got Crichton in 13th. He's on relatively fresh mediums. Well, he needed a safety car, but he got a bit of bad luck with the safety car pitting just before it.
Yeah, bad timing.
Yeah. Need a bit of luck every now and then. And for some drivers, they got it. Other drivers, less so. There's Grim Reaper. He'll be the last driver to catch up to the train. He's on the soft tyre as well. He must have started on the mediums, I would have guessed. He's done that. Now, this is one slightly irritating thing about Spa. Because of how long it is, safety car periods take forever.
Oh, yes, they do.
Lap times behind the safety car around here are quite long. So,
2 minutes 40 or something.
Oh my goodness. So incredibly long. It's like Baku is just as bad. Just how long it all takes. Now, Hillers, what are you up to? Hillers is back in. Grim Reaper stays out. I'll double check with Reaper. I'm pretty certain he started. Yep. Oh, actually, he's done 2 medium stints. He's chucked on another set of softs. Okay, interesting.
Oh, so he hasn't got any new mediums left. Wow.
I guess so.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're pretty new, actually, both of them. Because
Well, yeah. Like, at the absolute most, like, a set is maybe 4 laps old, or maybe 5 laps old. So, they wouldn't be particularly old. And tyre wear on the mediums isn't a big thing, is it? If I remember.
From lap 10, they can go to the end. Each one of them. Easily. Well, this is played out pretty well for 40. Like, all the soft runners that didn't hit for the safety car. I don't know actually why Plevs is definitely in 10th, because he was 6th. Maybe he just stuck behind Karma and had to double stack. But double stack doesn't take too much actually, like compared to other games, like the old games.
Yeah.
So, don't know.
And they did introduce a patch where the double stack times were shortened quite a bit. As I remember, you used to lose a fair chunk of time with a double stack. It's definitely not as much as of a problem now. So now the safety car, I would think, will be going back into the pits this lap. I would think it should. Let's find out. Alright, there it goes. Bye bye safety car. It'll go back to its home in the pit lane, back to its natural habitat, and Ford will now control the field. He's backing everyone up quite considerably. See, the safety car is making its way towards Blanchimont now. 40 hasn't even gone past 16 yet. But he's the leader. He's entitled to set the pace. So long as he doesn't drive like a toolbox. That's more or less the main thing as a leader.
I think he's gonna start off with Blanchimont actually.
You reckon?
Yeah, could be. Maybe.
We just exited now. Oh, look at that. He called it. Alex called it. At the exit of Longchamp, we're just about to go back under green flag racing here at Spa. GeForce Ford is our leader, followed by Leo is a weirdo, then GeForce Wogboy is in P3. Karma P4, followed by GeForce Zach Tinselman in P6, followed by the two Aston Martins of Spilly and Bags in P7 and 8. The leaders are making their way through Eau Rouge and Radillon now. Ford, he's got a half-second margin to Leo. Ideally, he would like to pull away, but Leo, he's not going away anytime soon. Staying well within the slipstream. He actually closes in by quite a bit. Alpine has got some serious straight-line speed as they go through Les Combes, then turn 6, around turn 7, and down the hill towards Rivage. Yeah, everyone's fairly close, but no one's troubling anyone else for position just yet, which is what you expect to see. Everyone's just sort of getting themselves back into the rhythm of racing around Spa. Around Pouon comes the middle order. Oh, as Tinselman almost gets a warning. Crichton has overtaken Scotty. He's done that at Pouon, which is fairly remarkable. It's not a place you often see overtaking, but he's made it work. Around turn 13, his next target is Plebs. And that will mean he'll go back inside the top 10 after early race troubles. Up the hill towards Blanchimont now. And Ford, he's got a 1 second margin already. Wow. Leo's just crept back in within that 1 second margin. But Fordy's got some serious pace. He wants to break away. Sets the fastest lap in the process. 1 minute 45.350. Nobody has a response to that, it seems. Down the hill towards Eau Rouge and Radillon. The gap is 1 second. Wogboy is just behind, 3.5 tenths behind in P3. Get a healthy amount of tow here down the Camel Straight. Used a little bit of battery as well. Not quite close enough to attack. Meanwhile, Crichton trying to line up Plebs for a move as Grim Reaper overtakes Chip. Into turn 5 we go. Can't quite make a move just yet. He's still right behind the McLaren. Oh, nothing separating the two. As they head down towards turn 8, Crichton looks to the inside. Oh, in contact and spinning. Goes our championship leader. Crichton and Plebs making front wheel to rear wheel contact at turn 8. And Crichton, well, he got the short straw in that collision. He's now back down to 15th. Oh dear.
Wow, yeah. It's not going well for Crichton, is he?
Nope.
Like, he's gonna really need maybe another safety car or something.
Yep.
Even if the safety car doesn't work really well around here, like, everyone will just go to the pits.
Yeah,
or maybe
and
you can pull off like a big challenge and stay on mediums like to gain track positions. Well,
and everyone will have relatively full batteries as well, so you won't have that advantage either. So,
yeah.
as Ford rather sets another new fastest lap, I think he's just beaten it by 41 thousandths of a second, as DRS is now enabled. Now Wogboy, he'll be looking at that Alpine. He'll be getting ready to overtake Leo here. He's very much in position to do so, and it should be a fairly simple overtake. And it is. There's nothing Leo can do in this scenario. It's not like France last week.
I know commentators should be neutral, but I'm like team principal of the Ferrari squad, so, you know.
Yeah, I imagine you'd be pretty happy. And that's only fair. That's only fair. And the rest of the pack here is all fairly close to one another. But, again, they just can't do anything. It's often quite infuriating to see cars so close, but not close enough. Just wish they could race a bit more, but they just can't, unfortunately. Let's see. Spilly, he's trying to close in on Tinselman. Try and make something happen. Just over 3/10 separate him and Tinselman as they head up towards turn 16. And the gap increases just a little bit. Scotty, Grim Reaper, very close together here. as they head towards the bus stop chicane. Grim Reaper trying to look around the outside on the soft tyre. He gets it done. He overtakes Scotty. He's into P11. Scotty can't really respond on the exit, and he can't really send it here at La Source. He'll just have to stay behind. I don't think Leo will be close enough to attack Wogboy. You'll gain a lot down the Camel Straight with DRS, but not 6/10. We won't look at that just yet. See Spilly closing in, just not by enough. Not by enough. Through Lakeholm, through turn 6, around 7, then down the hill towards turn 8. Around this right-hand curve that has plenty of negative camber, which wants to try and force you away from the racing line. You have to try and hug the inside as best you can. Around turn 10, you have to avoid the inside curve as best you can. You want to get as close to it as possible without touching it, because if you do touch it, it's basically instant death. Around 12, around 13.
Yeah, and one thing I'd like to point out is that Karma's race is looking really good, because 40, Wolfboy and Leo both have 2 warnings.
Right.
And Karma has none. So, yeah, exactly. So let's see. It's still a long race.
Well, all it takes is one more mistake from any of those 3, and this race can be blown wide open. But and we know how nerve-wracking it can be sitting on 2 warnings, and how limited you want to push the car. As Chip goes into the pits. Interesting. Exiting turn 1 down the hill. So yeah, all that Karma needs to do is just keep up the good work, basically. He's done pretty well so far as Crichton overtakes Hillez for P13. I reckon Wonkboy, he might be a bit vulnerable here. He is. And there goes Leo. Back past into 2nd place. And like the situation before with Leo, Wonkboy, he can't do a thing. He just has to let him go. Scotty overtakes Grim Reaper as well. And
Leo.
There you go. There's one. So Leo's got a 3-second time penalty. That's going to play a big factor towards the end. Especially considering from 2nd place all the way down to 7th, that's a train. And Bags is just behind Spilly by 1.3 seconds. Oh, hello. Speaking of the devil, he's just had a moment.
Oh, he lost it in the same place he lost it on Sunday.
Ouch.
Oh.
Poor fella.
And in the meantime, Hilles just let Crichton pass in turn 1 on purpose, because you overtook him back on the DRS straight.
Oh yeah, that's right, look at that, Hello's P12 in front of Crichton. Well, that's a pretty wise thing to do, isn't it? It's a bit of gamesmanship. Just let the guy by, get DRS, get him back. Simple stuff. Leo setting a fastest lap. He's trying to get the hammer down and try and get away from the cars behind. Because now he's got a 3-second time penalty. And the rest of the field, as of right now, haven't really got any penalties just yet. Except for Bagstand and P14. In fact, Leo's within a second of 40, I've noticed as well.
And he's got a lot more battery compared to 40.
Here comes Plebs. Take P8.
Oh yes, he is. And GeForce Credit overtakes Hilles in the end.
There we go. And Grim Reaper, hello. Oh, Scotty was off the circuit there. And here comes Crichton. Got a whole heap of momentum. Will he go for a move? No, he'll stay behind. Well, you mentioned battery. Let's have a look at this. 62% on Leo's car. Yeah, 29% on 40. So 40 has about half the battery life compared to Leo. And Wogboy, he's got less than Ford in P3. Karma's got a healthy 32% next to his name. G4 Saka's got 20 odd. Same with Tinselman. Spilly has got almost 50. So, in terms of battery life, Leo, he definitely has the most out of the leaders. It's just unfortunate he's got a penalty next to his name. So.
Oh yes, he is. They're generally running low. Like, apart from Leo and Spilly, all the others are just on like 20-30%-ish.
Yeah. But battery isn't the easiest thing to save around here, is it?
No, it's not. Especially if you need to use overtake out of every single slow speed corner.
Yeah.
Like turn 1. Or like after Stavelot.
So.
And Leo's really close now.
Here we go.
Watch out.
He'll open DRS and probably use a bit of overtake. Actually, no, he hasn't touched it. Doesn't need to touch it. That's why. As he takes the lead on lap 16 of 22 here at Spa. Chip, meanwhile, down in 15th, has just taken fastest lap. And Scotty has retaken 10th place from Grim Reaper. And Crichton has taken it. Ooh, hello. Crichton's taken P11. So Grim Reaper down to 12th. Hillers is just on the back of this as well. Crichton not quite close enough to try and attack into turn 8. Just have to follow Scotty around for just a little bit. Try and make some sort of move. And the Haas driver. Spilly still close. Tinselman. The G-Force Zach, he's outside of that 1 second range. Takama needs to try and get back within that 1 second range if he can. Because if he doesn't have DRS down the Camel Straight, he'll be pretty vulnerable to the cars behind. Sector 3.
Oh, Sector 3.
It's Roscoe. He's out. He's crashed. No safety car just yet. There he is there. So he's lost it at 15. Might have put it into the wall on the right, then bounced back to the left, maybe? I don't know.
I just think like the outside curb on that corner just puts you on rails at some point. You can't even turn anymore. Yeah. So basically tried to turn at high speed, I think, and then he lost it on the outside.
Oh yeah, because that outside barrier also comes back in towards the racetrack as well.
Oh yeah.
So it narrows up. Yeah, that's actually probably a better prediction. That's 40 here. He's going to retake the lead. Lap 17. We've got a DRS battle at the front, and Tinselman has overtaken Zach. Zach wasn't able to get back within DRS range, and he's paid the price as a result. Grim Reaper overtaking Hillez. Hillez trying to fight. Oh, pretty tight through 6. Through 7. Grim Reaper's right on Hillez's gearbox. They head around turn 8. Crichton, he's now got a fairly clear track in front of him. Need to put the hammer down to try and catch up to Plevs. Won't be easy. Yeah, we have a battle for first. Got that group of 4 cars with Leo, Ford, Wogboy and Karma. Then we got this battle here with Tinselman, G-Force, Zach and Spilling. And Plevs is sort of by himself. Crichton is almost by himself. Scotty's trying to keep within that 1 second range. In fact, the whole tail of this field, they're all pretty spread out now. So we've essentially got 2 groups to keep an eye on. 40 here. Going to cross the line to begin lap 18 of 22. The gap between him and Leo, half a second at turn 1. I think Leo will retake the lead, I imagine. Find out. Still got heaps of battery life though. That still on 60 odd percent. Here he comes. Hasn't used a bit of it. Got DRS and here he comes. Using a little bit now just to get by. Using the overtake button exactly for... Oh, hello. As Tinselman has lost 2 positions to G-Force Zach and Spilly. Now, I thought Tinselman was involved in some sort of... Oh, there it is there. I spoke too soon is what I've done. So I saw Tinselman lose 2 places. I thought he might have had a moment. And in the middle of me saying that, he had the moment.
Oh, Crichton as well. Crichton is out.
Oh, he's out. Oh, my goodness me. He's lost it at the exit of turn 8, and we still don't have a safety car yet. I'm quite surprised part of that car is still on the racetrack. Well, hello. Pled's getting by Tinselman. Tinselman's car, I think, is damaged.
Yes, definitely. I think just Tinselman lost 2 positions. Oh, and he gets 3 seconds as well.
Oh,
he lost 2 positions just because of DRS, because he was so tight, like between him, Spilly, and Zach, and they just had overspeed towards the camels, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And then he has a moment at the exit of 7. Really unfortunate. He was in for a fairly decent result if he kept that car together, but unfortunately it came unstuck. Just the wrong moment. Rightio, 4 laps to go here at Spa. Lap 19, 20, 21 and 22 left to get through. Through Radeon come the leaders. Ford's half a second behind. Wogboy's pretty close. Not using any battery though. Neither is 40. And he's got 50% now. So he and Leo are pretty even in terms of battery as Spilly gets by into P5. Hillez gets by Scotty as well with DRS. And he's waving to him. Oh, how nice. Giving him a little wave there as he goes by.
Tinselman has actually not been it. So I assume it doesn't have big damage. He's just having some issues in turn in, but car looks fine to me.
Interesting. Top 4. Still awfully close. Karma's just waiting in the wings. He's got a healthy amount of battery now as well. So they're all prepared for these final couple of laps here at Spa. They're all going to send it. Leo's out the front, but he's got that penalty to deal with.
I think it's too late, but it's getting cloudy.
It is, isn't it? Quite a grey filter coming over the racetrack.
And that Spa can like really start raining in like this in 5 seconds. So.
And I remember doing races here where it starts to rain and it takes an eternity to go to intermediate conditions. So you have to stay on the slick tyre for a very, very long time. And those sort of conditions are horrible. You know, it's sort of mixed between intermediate and dry. It's not fun. And I've witnessed the reverse as well, where it starts raining and it almost instantly goes to intermediate conditions. So if we do see some rain, it will spice things up at the front. Karma's starting to lose a bit of touch with the top 3. Needs to stay with that battle, keep it alive. Down the hill at the exit of No Name, down towards Puon. Gap is half a second. 40 still sitting on 2 warnings, same with Wogboy. They're yet to get penalties. Up and around turn 12. Just following the leader. Just making sure you don't make any mistakes. Around turn 14. Crossing the middle sector split. Leo, he's unable to pull away. He's still got Ford and Wogboy just behind.
And Ford is basically 85% of battery. Like he hasn't used it like in 4 or 5 laps time. So I assume he's got more pace than Leo.
Just using the DRS that's given to him, I guess. Gives him the ability to not use any, though he's had a bit of a moment at the exit of 19, and he's now proceeding to use a little bit of battery to compensate. We've got 2 laps to go. Exiting turn 1, down the hill towards Eau Rouge. He has another small moment. The gap is half a second. Will he go for it, or will he stay behind and wait until the last lap? Let's find out. He opens DRS. He's using overtake. He's closing in on Leo. Leo defends that inside line. Ford moves on to the racing line. He goes around the long way. They're side by side. Oh, and Leo stays in front. Wogboy and Karma catch up as Ford was quite compromised through turn 6. Around turn 8 now as Bags overtakes Grim Reaper for P11. Down the hill, around turn 9. Down the hill.
40 had to slam on the brakes big time. And but I think he's wise enough. Like Leo's got bounty. Like he's got a win in his pocket already. He doesn't need to make silly moves.
No, he can be nice and patient about it. Quite right. He doesn't have to force anything. But having seen quite a few league races in my time, quite a few drivers like to win it on track, not just through penalties. So I think 40 would like to get by even with Leo's predicament. And if 40 does inevitably get a penalty, which could happen, then he will have to genuinely battle Leo for position. So,
oh yes,
here we go. Oh, and another little wiggle. It's the final lap here at Spa. Lap 22 of 22. Leo is our race leader, but he's got a 3-second time penalty. He's got GeForce Ford and GeForce Walkboy behind, and that is Grim Reaper, who has had a moment at Blanchimont. He's missing a front wing, but he's still in the race. That's the main thing. Around Radion for the final time. 40, he's close. He's using whatever battery he's got left. Leo, hard right there as he defends that inside line. 40 looking round the long way as they head down towards Lake Holm. And 40 does it round the outside. He gets it. He gets the lead as GeForce Zach and Spilly are side by side. Through turn 6, down to 7. Zach hangs on to that 5th place. Around turn 8 come the leaders. Down the hill and around turn 9. Not much you can do through this middle sector. It's really not much. I don't think anyone will try and send it. Around turn 11. Down towards 12 and 13. They're all sort of stuck at the moment. Oh, his Wogboy has half a moment there at turn 12. I saw his steering wheel go dead straight. He must have had a moment on the inside curb. Had to straighten the car out. He's lost time. Made him a tad bit vulnerable to Karma here as they head down towards the bus stop chicane for the final time. Wogboy's low on battery. So is Karma. Here we go. Through Blanchimont, Wogboy. He hangs on to the right-hand side of the racetrack. They'll give him the inside line for the penultimate turn. Karma tries to send it. He'll have the inside line for the final corner. They're side by side on the exit as Ford takes the checkered flag here at Spa. It will be Wogboy who takes second, and Karma will complete the podium in third. Leo will drop down to 4th place with GeForce Zach in 5th, Spelly in P6, Plevs in 7th, Tinselman in 8th, Scotty in 9th, and Hillers will round out the top 10. Bags will cross the line in 11th, followed by Chip in P12. Then it's a fairly long wait for Grim Reaper, who will be our final finisher in 13th place. Not a bad race, I'd say. Not bad at all.
I think Grim Reaper can retire as well because he's gonna get classified anyways. He's gonna be just one lap down. He's gonna get points anyway.
I just got informed as well by Gavin Arnold. The reason why Reaper had a moment at Blanchimont had a tyre failure. And if we remember, when the safety car came out, Grim, he was the only driver who was still on the softs. So he did a fairly long stint on the soft tyre, and the tyre let go with a few to go. It's just unfortunate that he didn't pit for a new front wing. He only got new tyres. But he still gets points. That's the main thing. Get a few points, finishing 13th.
And I'll tell you that, the championship standings now look really, really tight because of Predator's retirement. Because Philly will get the lead with 108 points, so 3 points over Crichton. 40 with this win will go to 103, and Wogboy with this second place will go to 102.
Very tight at the top then in the Drivers' Championship. That's good to hear. Good to see the podium celebrations here. Nice looking Williams suit on the top step. That's always good. Ferrari in P2. And a McLaren completing the podium. Isn't that just an old-fashioned podium? A Williams, a Ferrari, and a McLaren. In that
History
order.
wins.
Oh, doesn't it?
Tradition.
History always wins at Spa. It always does. It's great. At 40, he claims victory. Started second, finished in first place. Fine performance from him, with Wogboy making it a G-Force 1-2. Karma will complete the podium in third place after a very solid effort. Leo, what could have been without that 3-second time penalty, he'll finish in fourth place, followed by G-Force Zach, then Spilly in P6. P7 goes to Plev. Tinselman from 14th finishes 8th. He gets driver of the day. Scotty P9, Hillers P10, Bags P11, then Chip in P12, and our final finisher will be Grim Reaper. Just to note as well, Chip, he got fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 44.241. Rightio. We'll invite the top 3 in. We can have a nice little chat about what happened here at Spa. Definitely had our moments during the race. For a Spa race, that wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah. Sometimes Spa races can be a bit boring, but this one, we had drama, we had some action, which is always good to see. Alright, where's the Williams car? There it is. Look at it. There we are. Alright, we'll invite the top 3 in so we can have a little chit-chat. Let's see here. Dum-de-dum. Add players. Do I have Karma as a friend? I should. Hopefully. If not, I will have to add him. Because for some reason, if a person is not on your friends list, they can't join. Which is... Hey! There he is. Hang on. We'll add these two and I'll accept that request. Yeah, PlayStation parties now be like that. It's strange. You used to invite people willy-nilly. Now you have to actually be friends with them. Bit annoying, but it is what it is. Hello. Not too bad. How are you? This conversation, except for my part, won't be heard, so you can say whatever you like and no one will hear it. Not until I get out of this blue screen. There you are, Karma. There we are. Invite him in as well. Hello, Wogboy, as well.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hello, Karma.
Long time no see, Rex.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh, nice little race at Spa. I'm sure you'll all agree. But we'll start the post-race interview. Can't speak now. We'll start the post-race interviews. We'll go from P3 and we'll make our way up. So we'll start with you, Mr. Karma. Not a bad effort from you today. Did you enjoy yourself out there in this race in Spa?
Finally, I got a podium.
I got a trophy.
Yeah, yeah. Finally, it's great. Spa's like my second best track, so don't expect me to be up here again.
What's your best track?
Jeddah. So,
really? You know, I've heard a few people say Jeddah's their favourite. I don't mind it myself. It is a freaking amazing circuit. But
Karma is very quick at Jeddah, I can confirm.
Okay, I'll make a note of that. But
yeah, confirm that as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a note. But no, you had a very fine performance. I think Alex pointed out during the stream, not a single penalty over the course of that race, and that's not easy to do. But,
yeah, well, I had no penalties until like the last 4 laps, and I got 2.
When you get one, the second one's on its way. It's always
well, they usually come in 3, so I got a bit worried. And then I was backing off, and then I saw Wogboy almost lose it.
Yep.
Coming up to sector 3.
Yep.
So I tried to have a go at him, but went too deep, and he had the better run. I slid out of the last corner, but no, it was good. Good race.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. But how was qualifying as well? We haven't talked about qualifying.
I missed my third run by literally 0.5, like 0.2 of a second. But I had 2 really solid laps. I went out and did a 42.6 and then a 42.2.
Yep.
Yeah, I started P5, which I was hoping to start there, and yeah, no, it worked out well. Unfortunately, I got a penalty, but
Yep.
that gives me a position, so I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. But Mr. Pato, anything to ask Karma?
Well, GG, mate. Like, you look like the most tidy of the front runners, like not getting any warnings and stuff. That finally you said, like in the beginning, it looks like a Danny Rick getting a podium on Renault. Like, are you gonna force your team principal to get a tattoo as well? Or
That'd be nice.
Nah. Apart from the stupid questions, really good job, and I'm happy for you first podium. Really happy for you.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it heaps.
Well, next week we're going over to Russia at Sochi. What are your thoughts heading into next week?
To be honest, I've never done a league race there. I actually haven't done like a proper length race there, so I've actually got no idea what I'm going to be like.
Well, basically imagine Spa tyre wear. No auto spin curves, but instead you got these stupid tall orange curbs at the apexes at some corners that send your car into space. So
yeah, so kind of like Monza Turn 1 now.
yes, exactly like those. You got to turn 8 and you got to the penultimate turn at 17 at pit entry. They are just horrible.
Like when I do 5 laps there, I'm quite clean, so hopefully I can keep that up.
Good to hear.
Probably looking for top 8, hopefully. There we go.
Well, that's fair enough. That sounds completely doable. That's good to hear. But congratulations on your P3 finish tonight. Karma, great effort.
Cheers, Lane. Thanks, Alex.
But we'll move on to P2. Second podium in a row, Wog Boy. You're on a roll, mate. How was it tonight here at Spa? Oh, it was all right. Oh, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate for some of the medium runners. Fortunately, you weren't on them. But, yeah, you pit the lap before it came out. Oh, to be honest, I thought you were going to lose a lot more than you did. Did you think that as well? Yeah. Oh, mate. I think you... I think Crichton as well. Spilly, that was the other one. Pitted just before the safety car came out. But no, generally, how was the race for you? Yep. And fair enough. But boss man, Alex Pato, Ferrari boss man.
Well,
anything to ask?
Good job, man. Good job. Good job for Ferrari squad. Well done. Now, apart from that, like, really well done. Second podium in a row. I was watching the standings, and this will put you like 7 points behind the leader, which will be Spilly. Now, everyone is going to take advantage of Crichton's retirement, of course. What do you think about the championship? Do you think you can push for it and like go for a championship? Go to be a championship contender? What do you reckon? Okay. Alright.
I just want to do something with you. Well, are you on a PS4 or PS5, out of curiosity? Alright. I'm going to go blue screen on the stream for a second, because I just realised something. Right. Could you go to your party screen for me? And party settings? Should be the fourth option. Yes. So, yeah. Allow your voice to be shared. Should be on always allow. Got that? Alright. I just remembered that because it didn't pop up last week, and I didn't realise until post-race, and I felt like a bit of a goose, and I just reminded myself then. But, considering that we couldn't hear you, could you sum up what you said? Just a brief one sentence. I think we could go with that.
I can't, man. I'm tired.
Fair enough, I'm tired.
Yeah.
There we go, folks. He gave it his all,
It was
and
a
he
good
finished in a
race.
great second. There we go.
That's what I say. Good race.
All right, mini question then. Next week's Russia. How do you think you'll go?
No clue. Haven't league race there on this game.
Oh my goodness, a few people haven't league raced. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it'll be a
But
first for
I
a
don't
few
mind
people.
it.
We are
Don't
also
mind it.
loyal to Race Spec that we don't race in other leagues, you know, and we haven't raced in this game in Russia, so like.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I've done one. I think. Yeah, I've done one. Disconnected twice. Was great fun. But no, congratulations, Wogboy, on another podium finish.
Thank you.
That's, we'll move on to our race winner. 40. W, bro.
Hello.
At
We're
Spa.
back. Yeah.
Not a
If
bad
you
effort.
remember last week. Was meant to win this one, but I'm not complaining.
Well,
Take what we can get.
that's it. I mean, Crichton had the DC on the first lap, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That
With a bit of
that
help,
played
with a bit of-
absolutely no
Dude.
part in
Nah.
your win today.
Nah, mate.
No, you were destined to win this.
His disconnection definitely helped. I can't lie. Made my life
Oh.
very easy. I think.
Maybe a little bit.
Obviously, I think Leo and Wogboy both kept me pretty honest, but yeah, it was, you know, I think 50% of the race, you know, the battle gone when he disconnected, so it was good. Sorry, Zach, but I'm not complaining.
Truth hurts, bro. It's
Yeah.
just the truth. But your qualifying performance was pretty decent as well. You just missed out on pole position, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I was until my final run, I was down in about 15th. I knew I could hit, you know, a low 42, high 41 quite easily, so I thought Zach would have improved down to about a 7 or a 6, so I was just trying to get my lap in, you know. Starting on the front row at second is much better than starting down in 15th, so yeah, I kind of, you know, I wouldn't say backed off obviously, but just made sure I wouldn't invalidate throughout the lap, and then as I crossed the line, seeing I was only half a tenth away from him, I was a little bit frustrated because, you know, if I had just pushed, you know, that extra corner or something like that, I probably could have got it quite easily. So, yeah, I mean, front row is still just as good as pole, nearly, especially at Spa. So, yeah, I wasn't complaining. It was a whole race to go.
But, Alex, anything to ask Mr. Ford?
Well, I've got two questions actually. First of all, this podium Williams, Ferrari, McLaren looks really vintage, so it's really nice to see.
That's true. It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah. And what happened on the penultimate lap, like with Leo? You were on the outside, but you had to slam on the brakes big time, right?
Yeah, so I was like, because I was going to try hold around the outside for certain, but I realised I was on 2 warnings, like pretty much halfway through committing the move. And I was like going to run off the track a little bit just to avoid the collision, but then in doing so I probably would have picked up a penalty, so I just thought, you know what, keep the car on the track, don't do anything dumb. Leo's already got the penalty, you know, as long as I keep Wogboy behind me, I'm going to be okay. So, yeah, I guess, you know, halfway through the move, I guess my mind just kind of said, don't do anything stupid, keep it on the track, and yeah, that's why I just pretty much backed off, and yeah, made sure I kept on the track.
No?
That
Fair
was
enough.
really wise from you. That was
Yeah,
really
it
wise.
could have been, yeah, I would have been very frustrated if I had picked up a penalty, especially going for a move like that when I probably didn't even really need to do it. So yeah, I'm glad I made the right decision there.
Yeah, and plus, I'd like to inform you that, like, I don't see any stewards reports coming, to be honest. So I think with this win, you're gonna be just 6 points behind Spilly, who's leading this championship.
Yeah,
Like-
no, it's awesome because as I think Wobboy just said, you know, we've got a really close championship here. We got, I think, 4 or 5 of us real close on points, which we haven't seen in a while in Pacific, which is good. And I mean, especially for me, I didn't really think I'd be in the fight. Like, it would be very difficult for me to get back in the fight after missing those 2 races early on in the season. But I've just been, you know, I've been driving really well. I think every race I've done, I've finished on the podium all so far. So yeah, I mean, hopefully that's not a sign for worse things to come. But yeah, so far it's 2 wins and 2 other podiums, which is nice.
Well, you've gone back-to-back in this championship. Win at France and win here in Belgium. Will we see a 3-peat at Sochi?
I hope so. It's my first time of going back-to-back in Pacific Series, which is, I guess that's already a start there. But From previous games, I really like Russia. I haven't league raced on it since 2019 though, which is a long time ago. Yeah, I think in 2019 I won both the races we did there in Pacific, and also in F1 2018 I won a couple races there as well. So I really like Russia. I haven't tried it with the new bumpy curbs though. That was only when we could pretty much skim over the orange ones. So yeah, it'll be interesting what next week has, but I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I'm in really good form, so see if we can keep it up.
Yeah, the two major areas, turn 8 and the penultimate turn. You will notice them straight away.
Righto.
Just with how silly they are.
Okay.
But no, mega effort tonight. Congratulations on your second victory in the Championship 40. Well done.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Meg. Cheers, Alex.
Well, I think, Alex, this will wrap everything up. Not a bad race at Spa.
Yes.
And on to next week. Sochi Autodrome. Not exactly my favourite circuit in the world. Though, see, it's an interesting thing with Sochi. In the real world, it's garbage. We all know that. But in the virtual world, there's something about terrible racetracks that just make cool racing. I don't know why.
Yeah. It's the lack of dirty air.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah. There's just something about some of the boring circuits. Yeah, Spain, brilliant example. I've seen so many great races at Spain. And then you look at the real world ones, like, oh, Mercedes win by 30 seconds. Great. You know, that's fun.
I think from a driver's point, it's where the tracks are split up in two with DRS. You know, it's about halfway around the lap and you get DRS again.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Maybe.
So I think that keeps it quite close, which is nice.
Certainly like that at Russia. You got turn 2 and 13 as overtaking spots on the circuit. So you got plenty of opportunity. And what's another circuit? Abu Dhabi, probably another good one as well. Just even with the old configuration, you can still get pretty good races. So point is, chat, be optimistic. That's basically it for next week. It might be Russia, but this is F1 online league racing. Anything can happen in online league racing. But I think with everything finally over, it's time for us to end the stream. Tune in throughout the week as there's still plenty of racing to come here on Race Spec Esports. But for Pacific Tier 1, we'll have to wait until next week. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator for tonight is Alex Pato. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you all for we'll see you for round 6 of the championship at Sochi Autodrome for the Russian Grand Prix. Goodbye.
Goodbye.